Hello everyone! In the middle of our hip and trendy downtown arts district stands a little gem of a restaurant. If you crave fresh, homemade, authentic, and delicious Mexican food, this is the place for you. It's been featured on diners, drive-ins, and dives, and touted as being the best Mexican cuisine in Las Vegas. Well, I've been to a number of restaurants featured on Triple D, and it's been somewhat hit and miss. Well, let me tell you, on this occasion, Triple D got it right. I've been to many Mexican places here in Vegas, and I'll say, hands down, unquestionably, and with no hesitation, this is the best Mexican food in Vegas. It's a place where the unusual collides with tradition. New renditions of old timeless classics come together into one cohesive, unforgettable, and delicious tapestry. This place has quickly become our go-to spot for Mexican food. Letty's on Main Street, in our lovely downtown. Now before we go on, I'd like to reiterate that we're always honest about our reviews and have no hesitance pointing out deficiencies at restaurants and telling it as it is. Some people have written comments saying we're simply cheerleaders. I have to assume those people haven't seen many of our reviews, as we can be brutally honest and sometimes downright insulting. So when I rave about a place, you can take it to the bank, it's good. Well, today, there's going to be a lot of raving, as Letty's is the real deal. And stay tuned to the end because Letty has a special offer for our viewers only, and I don't want you to miss it. We started with a few drinks. This is La Fresco Margarita. It's a phenomenal tamarind margarita, truly unique. It's a cross between an agua fresca and an adult beverage, and certain to please anyone's palate. It also says on the menu that it's award-winning, and I can see why. The tamarind pulp is what makes this such an amazing margarita. I'm crazy about the tahini on the rim and the candy tamarindo straw/swizzle stick as well. Stir your drink with it, and the tamarind dissolves into the drink. Don't forget to eat the tamarindo, which remains on the straw. Letty's has many agua frescas as well. This is the Jamaica. It's also delicious. As is a theme you'll soon see at Letty's, everything is homemade. How can you beat homemade tortilla chips and salsa? You can't. There's nothing more universally loved, with the possible exceptions of peanuts or popcorn, than a warm-up bowl full of chips and salsa. Try to eat just one, you can't do it. The chips are light, crispy, and not at all greasy. The salsa is a roasted chili salsa with hints of chipotle, cilantro, and tart notes of lime. Letty's guacamole is sensational. A very fresh avocado flavor. Nothing overpowering, just a smooth, well-seasoned, balanced taste that pairs perfectly with chips and is a welcome addition to any dish. If you can believe it, these are the taquitos we ordered. 2 chicken and 2 beef in a mole sauce. I love the playful presentation of this dish. I certainly wasn't expecting there would be this huge glass filled with mole. I don't plan on wasting a drop of it. I was told by very picky guests at our restaurant that I made an amazing mole, and this reminds me of it. It's fantastic and so well balanced. There's an art to making a good mole, and Letty's is probably the best I've ever tasted. I spent a lot of time in Oaxaca and learned from some of the best chefs there the secret to making good mole. I consider myself a mole aficionado, and this is a masterful example. The shells on these taquitos are also amazing. They're so crispy and light, not at all greasy. I hate hard, brittle shells that burst into pieces when you bite into them. Not so here. They have a crisp outer surface, yes, but they also have a beautiful give to them, which makes them a joy to eat. They're bursting with chicken, and the chicken is very well seasoned. Not bland, nor overly salty, just the right amount. They're as balanced as the mole. All in all, a truly spectacular dish.
You had me at mole.
We tried another appetizer, fried nopalitos, aka grilled cactus, in a light batter with queso fresco and chipotle aioli. These are a must-try. They're crispy, and the interior is not at all that typical slimy texture that cactus can sometimes have. I love the cheese topping on these as well. It brings them to another level with the tart notes. I have to be honest, cactus is never something I order, as I find the slimy texture very unappealing. However, Letty's has converted me from a cactus hater to a cactus lover. At least these cactus. I'm going to get these on my next visit for sure, and you should try them. They're delicious. These 3 little empanadas are amazing. First, all the dough is homemade from scratch using masa. It's your choice how each is filled. We asked for one of each, chicken tinga, cochinita pibil, and beef. They're then topped with crema and queso cotija and a slice of escabeche jalapeno. Served with an amazing salsa verde, bursting with fresh tomatillo, garlic, cilantro, and some of Letty's delightful secrets that give it a unique and utterly delicious flavor. This pibil is so well seasoned and tastes so fresh, very juicy and just the right amount of spice. The seasoning is perfect. I totally recommend the pibil in or on anything here. This beef, also delicious. Perfection on a plate. It's slowly cooked till it falls apart and so well seasoned that you can tell it was not just boiled as many Mexican places make it. The chicken has such a pure, clean flavor. I know it sounds strange, but I always think of chicken as having a clean taste when it's well prepared and such good quality as this. Chicken tinga is shredded chicken cooked in a sauce made from sliced onions, tomatoes, and chipotle chilies in adobo. This tomatillo sauce really brings out the subtle sentiments of each of these empanaditas and plays so well with the tortilla's salty tartness. I'm loving these and our experience so far. Once again, with one bite of any of the 3, I can close my eyes and magically I'm south of the border in the days of my youth when my friends and family would cross into Tijuana to get authentic, homemade from scratch empanaditas like these. I've been to so many restaurants here in Vegas who claim to be authentic, but let me tell you, these are the real deal, and make any others you'll taste this side of the border pale in comparison. This is food not easily forgotten. I was dreaming about these days later. This is what I call a beautiful, indulgent, and flavor-packed sandwich. I mainly ordered this just to get some more of Letty's incredible mole. This may be the first time here, but I can assure you it won't be my last. I'm kicking myself for not coming here before, as people have been telling me about Letty's for years. This is a great bargain, because it's so filling and makes a perfect lunch on its own. Yet, it's big enough to share if you want to try a few things. It's without a doubt the best torta I've ever tasted, and not to be missed. This bread is so fresh, it's perfectly toasted, warm and buttery with an airy lightness to it. The chilaquiles are out of this world, rich, not at all oily. They remain crispy on the sandwich, and somehow they're still really crunchy, and it's a wonderful textural contrast to the carnitas. And the carnitas? Beyond good. They're fresh and have no gamey taste at all. The pork has an extraordinary flavor. It's crispy on the outside and soft and delicious on the inside. Letty's Carnitas reminds me of a very old and famous carnitas restaurant I used to go to most of my childhood in Tijuana. This is yet another standout dish. Wow, this is probably the most delicious quesadilla ever. First of all, the tortilla is homemade. So right there, it's above and beyond most other quesadillas. I always made my tortillas from scratch, and you can really taste the difference. In no way, shape, or form is this your typical quesadilla. Birria is so popular nowadays. When I was growing up, it was something you rarely saw outside of Mexico, and unheard of by most Americans. Today, it seems to be the most popular meat available in any Mexican restaurant. You can even see it popping up at fast food restaurants, seemingly everywhere. Birria is usually made from goat or beef. Here, it's beef. It's then simmered for hours, like a stew, in a rich broth of chilies and adobo. This birria is stunningly vibrant in flavor. The deep, rich broth has permeated every nook and cranny of the beef, and the hours of simmering have the meat perfectly falling apart. What makes it stand out is the amount of flavor that the meat has absorbed. It just explodes in your mouth as you bite into it. With a combination of the melted Oaxaca cheese, sour cream, pico de gallo, and sliced jalapeno, it's a delight to your taste buds. There's so much meat in this quesadilla, just look at it. As usual, any birria dish comes with consomme, which is simply the broth in which the birria was cooked. It's utterly fantastic as a dipping sauce. Think of a Mexican French dip sandwich. There's a world of love in this dish, and I totally recommend sharing this as a starter when you come here. Pupusas have seemingly gone viral these days in Vegas, and I can see why, if they all taste like these. This pupusa is filled with beans and chicharrone and is served with slaw and salsa. Rumor has it that pupusas were made popular by the El Salvadorans, Colombians, and Venezuelans. In the last few years, the popularity is off the charts and everyone in town loves them. What is a pupusa, you may ask? It's sort of a homemade griddle cake made from fresh masa. They can be filled with a variety of things. In this case, they're filled with the fresh homemade carnitas and refried beans. I have to say that Letty makes some outstanding refried beans. They're sensational. I love Letty's fermented slaw and salsa as well. The slaw is spicy yet kept tame by the cabbage and vinegar. The salsa is so finely pureed that it reminds me of an Italian pepper sauce my mom used to make. This could be the Mexican equivalent of that. Anyway, I'm loving the salsa and the cabbage combination and this primal dish. You want to get in here with your hands. Don't you dare use a knife and fork. Tear it off, and if it oozes out, it's okay. Just a word of warning, let it cool before you grasp it and rip it apart, because it's hotter than the face of the sun when it arrives to the table. Letty is such a gift for making masa and pupusa wrappers. It's almost like a very fine pastry that's fried, yet maintains a delicate texture. Even though most pupusas are heavy and greasy, this is the exception. It's almost flaky and light. I could eat 100 of these. The birria from the quesadillas has been calling out to me since my last bite, so I just have to try another birria dish. This time it's beef birria consomme with ramen noodles, soft-boiled egg, half corn on the cob, and topped with chopped onion and cilantro, served with lime and a wonderful roasted jalapeno. This elote is so wonderfully sweet, and the jalapeno so full of flavor. They add a terrific freshness to this dish. I have to say, I've never heard of combining ramen noodles and birria. It's very creative, and it works. The broth is the secret to this recipe working so well. It's so rich in flavor. I'm sure it's the type of broth that would turn into a gel once it's chilled. It's reminiscent of a bone broth, and very healthy. Well, I'm not going to try to convince anyone to get this because it's healthy. Get it because it's so incredibly palate-pleasing. As for the quesadillas, this birria dish is outstanding. It's so moist. The chunks stay together in the broth, but fall apart and almost melt in your mouth. You have to try it to know exactly what I mean, but I assure you, you're going to love it. The ramen is good as well. This dish, it's a bowl of warm comfort. It would be just the perfect thing to eat on a cold day. You can order the burritos here plain, enchilada style, which is bathed with sauce in the top and cheese, or chimichanga style, aka fried. Well, those who know me probably guessed I picked the fried one. When I was 4 years old, my parents bought me my first burrito, and I was hooked. There's just something so satisfying about picking up a huge burrito with your hands and digging in with reckless abandon. I remember as a kid, it seemed ginormous. The burrito was almost as big as I was. It tasted like the most delicious thing I'd ever eaten. Mexican food still holds a special place in my heart to this day. I remember our housekeeper Rosa making tortillas and letting me help when I was 6 years old. Letty's burrito tastes as good as my childhood memory of that first burrito, if not better. This carne asada is so well seasoned and packed with rich, beefy flavor. There's nothing bland about this astoundingly good burrito. The interior consists of rice and beans that cradle the nicely charred ranchero steak. The homemade tortilla that it's wrapped in is beyond good, so flaky and crispy. The dough is delicate, almost like a layered fresh pastry. Though my childhood is long gone, I can come here and in a flash be transported back to those days with but a single bite of this sumptuous burrito.
Give me a moment. I'm verklempt.
We used to have a similar dish to this in our restaurant. We sold a ton of them. And if there was ever a mistake with an order, our staff knew to bring them right over to us, as we were more than happy to eat them ourselves. It was one of those dishes you actually rooted for a mistake or two each night. I never get tired of chips or fries. Here, you're given a choice between the two. We opted for the fries. Letty's is one of the few places which make their own fries. They're not your ordinary crispy long fries, but they're great in this beautiful mess of a dish. There's everything but the kitchen sink in here. Refried beans, Oaxaca cheese, sour cream, guacamole, pico de gallo, onions, and pickled jalapenos and carrots. And of course, the protein of your choice. We decided on the pastor. It's phenomenal here. I can't wait to return for Taco Tuesdays to have the pastor in taco form. I really enjoyed this dish, and I think you will as well. Well, it's our last dish, and I'm reminded of that 1990s Vanessa Williams song, as we definitely saved the best for last. This was my favorite thing I had today. We ordered one chicken enchilada suiza, and the other is a carnitas enchilada with Mexican crema and tamarindo sauce. They were both exquisite. For those who don't know, the Swiss, or Suiza style, is named after Switzerland because of the pristine white top of the Alps symbolized by the white Mexican crema on top of the enchilada. It comes with the usual verde sauce found in Suiza. This dish was as spectacular in flavor as the Alps are beautiful to behold. I have to say that I could eat these any time and be happy, and have been dreaming about them since the moment we left the restaurant. As for the carnitas enchilada, another dazzling dish. It was in tough competition being on the same plate as the Suiza, but it was every bit as good. Maybe they should call it the Matterhorn to keep with the Swiss theme. Letty's tamarindo sauce is sweet and tart. It's one of the best sauces I've ever tasted. As for the rice and beans, Letty's is the first I've tasted here in Vegas to make hers as you would find in Mexico. You have to try these enchiladas. They were beyond compare, the highlight of an already extraordinary meal, and put all others here in Vegas to shame. It's obviously no surprise how we feel about Letty's. As I'm sure you've noticed, the superlatives have been flying fast and furious in this review. What can I say? Every once in a while we come across a restaurant where every dish is so excellent, you can't help but to gush about each one. If you've seen our other videos, you know we're honest in our assessments, and not simply cheerleaders. The food at Letty's is first rate. After eating all the dishes, I thought to myself, this is what we've been looking for since we moved to Vegas nearly a decade ago and thought we'd never find. There were so many places in Mexico, Tijuana, and LA that had great, authentic Mexican food. But honestly, Mexican food here in Vegas usually leaves something to be desired. Here, you'll find the real taste of Mexican food, made with all the delicate flavors as they should be, and devised by Chef Letty, who has a rare gift for balancing flavors and creating cohesive and delicious recipes. Most places in Vegas serve heavy, sloppy food that tastes as though it's from a can and needs to be tossed into the larger can in the corner. Letty's is the exception to this, and I can't more highly recommend this restaurant. If you seek amazing Mexican food, then you would be insane not to try Letty's, and will be kicking yourself when you do go that you didn't go sooner. Who knows, maybe you'll see us there? And make sure to tell them Let's Eat Vegas sent you. That's especially true this time, as Letty is making a special offer available only to our viewers. Tell them Let's Eat Vegas sent you and get happy hour discounts on all your drinks, regardless of the time of day or day of week. I know we're all guilty of watching YouTube videos and not participating. As a reminder, please like, comment, subscribe, or even become a VIP member. It means a lot to us, and it helps us grow and to bring you more reviews. Until we eat again, bon appetit!